Greetings from Florence, South Carolina, in the Florence Civic Center. It is your site for the Class 3A Boys Lower State Championship as the Lower Richland Diamond Hornets set to tangle with the Red Foxes of Hartsville High School. Hello, everybody. I am Birch Antley, joined by Alan Smothers. And Alan, this is our nightcap here for these Lower State Championships. It should be a great one between Hartsville and Lower Richland.
Well, it's time to wrap up the Lower State Championships, decide who's going to meet at the Colonial Life Arena next Saturday for the 4A, 3A, 2A, and 1A state titles. We could have an all-Wade Hampton Lower Richland championship as the Wade Hampton girls won the 3A, Lower Richland girls won 3A. And, of course, now we've got Hartsville trying to keep that from happening against the Diamond Hornets tonight. Zeke Washington and Eric Samuel have won state championships in the past, but at other schools. Eric Samuel's trying to win it for his alma mater. 21-6 coming in, 18-8 for Lower Richland, each with all-state players. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Jalen Shaw, a 6-foot senior point guard, 19 points, 7 assists, and 3.5 steals per ball game. This could be an exciting above-the-rim final as we had in the 2A boys earlier.
All right, well, we are ready for the tip here between Lower Richland and Hartsville. The lineups for the Red Foxes: Benjamin, Shaw, McPhail, Washington, and Prescott. On the other side for the Hornets: Eves, Montgomery, Edmonds, Hickland, and Gibson. Eves is your all-state player for LR.
And I just blew you up. I was going to say, I just blew you up on that opening, didn't I? 5 minutes ago, we saw Dreer run away from Lower Richland for the 3A girls, but congratulations to Coach Jones and her girls who will play next weekend.
So he could have had,
that's right. I don't know what I was thinking about that earlier.
An all-LR finals, but first the LR boys are going to have to get past these Hartsville Red Foxes. Partisan crowd in attendance here for Hartsville, as Hartsville High School only about 20 minutes away from the Civic Center here in Florence. Lower Richland, the Diamond Hornets, coming from Hopkins, South Carolina, just outside of the capital city, representing Richland County School District 1. Floating over to his right side is Marcus Edmonds for Lower Richland. They'll try to work it inside to Vincent Hickland, and he is denied by Washington for Hartsville. Hartsville in the red with the white trim, white numerals and letters, and the Hornets in the all whites with the black numerals and letters.
And Coach Eric Samuel told me before the game that Tevin Prescott is a shot-blocking machine. He averages over 4.5 block shots per ball game.
Marcus Edmonds rocking the high top fade. Working inside, but taken away by Hartsville, and Devontae Washington again. Another big play on defense. And Washington feeds Benjamin, wants the three. Isn't there, but a rebound for the Silver Foxes, and they throw it out of bounds. Tevin Prescott, a little too much on that pass. Thank you so much for joining us here on the South Carolina High School League Network. This is our final game of these Lower State Championships from what has been a wonderful venue, the Florence Civic Center, and the city of Florence, entire community, to be commended for rolling out the red carpet for all of these wonderful athletes and great communities that have competed over these 2 days here in the heart of the PD.
Eric Eves, the all-state performer for Lower Richland, will inbound the basketball. 15 points, 3 assists, and 3 steals per contest, being guarded by Donnie Benjamin right now.
Edmonds dishes right side to Montgomery. Montgomery looking for some help. Finds it with Eric Eves. Edmonds now driving in the lane. High arching shot, not there. Gets the rebound, but a whistle. Foul committed by LR. He stepped on the baseline. You're right. Yep.
And neither team able to get a bucket early. A couple of turnovers, but terrific defense on each end of the floor.
Here comes Marquez McPhail. Off to Benjamin, now to Jalen Shaw, the all-state player for Eric Samuel's Hartsville Red Foxes.
Well, he went off in the quarterfinals against against Wilson, scored 22 points and beat the Wilson Tigers in the only game they lost on their home floor this year.
LR now working right side, driving the baseline is Eric Eves, and he is denied, and possession goes to Hartsville. Still no score, 5:44 remaining here in the first period.
Well, Coach Samuel should have said something to me about Devontae Washington. He has 2 block shots in the first 3 minutes of this ball game.
The Hartsville Red Foxes lost in the second round of the playoffs last year. They have never won a lower state championship here in Class 3A. Have never won a state championship. Now, on the other side, Lower Richland, a storied tradition in basketball, especially in the 1980s when they were one of the most dominant teams in the country. 4 state championships, 1983, 87, 88, and again in 1999. And there's our first bucket of the game. It comes from Devontae Washington.
No, I'm sorry.
Or actually, Tevin Prescott.
Tevin Prescott. I'm a bad spotter, aren't I?
I think you're absolutely wonderful. Really enjoyed working with you, Alan.
Pointed at the wrong guy twice tonight and told the audience the wrong team that won the 3A girls lower state championship. I think it's the long day. We started at 10:30 this morning.
And we're here on Friday for the Class 4A girls and boys championships. Orangeburg-Wilkinson, the Bruinettes winning the lower state title, and the Lexington Wildcats winning the boys lower state championship. And here is Edward Stevens now into the ballgame for Lower Richland, number 11, the 6'1 senior. Yeah, back in the 1980s and 90s, Lower Richland really just one of the most dominant high school basketball programs around. They had some great names like Stanley Roberts, who went on to star in the NBA, JoJo English, who had a stint with the Chicago Bulls.
And let's make sure the audience not yelling at their computer screen. It is 2-0 Hartsville right now. Hartsville scored on the last possession by Tevin Prescott. And now they're going to get it back after a turnover by the Diamond Hornets.
So Hartsville with possession and taken away, but off the foot of Brandon Stroman for LR. Almost a quick steal on the inbounds. So we'll do it again here. Pulling the trigger, Jalen Shaw. Long outlet pass out to Zeke Copeland, and Copeland loses it. A nice grab by one of the scribes, one of the media writers here on Press Row.
While Hartsville has not made it to the state championship game in their storied career, theirs is not as stellar, shall we say, as Lower Richland.
There's a big block right there by Hartsville. Up ahead for the lay-in by Tevin Prescott. His 4th point of the game. He's got all of the points you see on the scoreboard.
But Hartsville has had some terrific players through the year, and one that we mentioned earlier today, Roderick Mumu Blakeney, was the all-time leading scorer in the history of high school basketball in South Carolina until a young guy now by the name of Raymond Felton came along, who now stars in the NBA.
Long 3-bomb by Jalen Shaw, your all-state selection, showing us why as he hit that one from long range, dialed it in, Alan.
Raymond Felton now with the Portland Trailblazers. He's the all-time leading scorer, but only a few hundred points ahead of Roderick Mumu Blakeney,
who had a great career after high school down in Orangeburg at South Carolina State University, playing for Cy Alexander.
And you know what? If I'm not mistaken, he might still be playing professionally today in a minor league. He played all over the world. Only at 5 feet 6 inches tall, he is a scoring machine. And this Jalen Shaw has done just the same this year, 19 points. And I'm showing my age now, Birch. I coached against the Hartsville head coach when he was a player at Hartsville High for Evans Gilliard many years ago. Eric Samuel back at his alma mater, trying to lead his team to their first ever state championship game.
And that one is tipped away by Devontae Washington. Boy, he has been a beast on defense for Hartsville. Devontae Washington letting everybody know that number 30 came to play. And he is going to the line. He'll try to drop in some points here for the Foxes, who lead it 7-0.
As I said in the open, each of these head coaches have won state championships before. Eric Samuel won his at 1A. Hunter Kynard Tyler about 4 years ago.
At the line is Devontae Washington, the big 6'4" junior. This is the second, and the rebound is picked up by Jamar Walker, the 6'7" senior for Lower Richland. And that one is knocked out of the hands of Brandon Stroman. But possession remains with the Diamond Hornets.
And Donnie Benjamin thought that he got all ball right there and stripped it clean, but picks up his first foul. We're going to say he was in the act.
Yeah, so he's going to the line to shoot.
And that is the son of the women's basketball coach at Lower Richland, Brandon Stroman.
His mother, Debbie Stroman, we just saw her coaching the Diamond Hornets in their loss to the Dreher Blue Devils in the girls' 3A matchup. And right now, Brandon Stroman, the 6'4" sophomore, at the charity line, and hammers home two. Now, if you're a coach's son, you better be a good free throw shooter.
Yeah, we talked about his sister, Morgan Stroman, who is at Miami now, and I said, I'm assuming that Brandon's your son, right? She said, yeah, there'll always be a Stroman at Lower Richland.
Driving in is Eric Eves, the All-State player for Lower Richland. He can't find the bottom of the basket, and Hartsville comes away with it. Quickly now goes McPhail, driving in, and he gets it.
Ooh.
Nope, they are going to wave that shot off.
Ooh, that's a toughie. That's a toughie. Eric's not going to like that one.
They'll wave the shot.
I thought he got there a little bit late.
Him the charge. McPhail with the foul. So Lower Richland down by 5 now with possession. And there goes LR's Edward Stevens. He cannot convert, and Hartsville will throw it out of bounds on the long pass intended for Tevin Prescott. Winner of this game will advance to the state championship in Columbia to face either Wade Hampton of Greenville, the defending state champs, or Southside of Greenville. I bet that is a packed house at the By Center in Greenville right now. Emerson Phillips, Stacy Huff on the SCHSL network with the broadcast. A loose ball in the court. Who's going to come down with it? It's going to be Lower Richland. Ahead to Brandon Stroman. And neither team can hang on to the pill.
Such a heads-up play by Donnie Benjamin on the last possession. It didn't turn into a turnover by Lower Richland and result in a Hartsville basket, but he was on top of it. Hartsville's Naquan Pearson in now running the offense for the Foxes.
And Donnie Benjamin now. Benjamin being guarded by McFadden. Over to McPhail. Now they'll kick it back out to McPhail. Dribbles in, now pulls back. Looking for help, gets it from Donnie Benjamin. Benjamin, right-handed dribble. Hartsville trying to set a play here. Good defense from Lower Richland, not allowing anything inside that perimeter for Hartsville. Finally, the Foxes find a space, and it's Tevin Prescott for his third basket of the game. And our first timeout taken by Zeke Washington on the Lower Richland bench as Hartsville leads by 7, 9-2 with 1:23 remaining here in the first.
You know, that timeout right there, Birch, was just for Zeke saying, look, I'm not calling timeout because we're in any trouble here or any, you know, they're making a big run because they're not. He just wants to let his guys know, look, we've gotten good looks. Ball's just not going in right now. The lid will come off. Don't get frustrated with missed shots and then start forcing things just because you think you've got to get a shot up. Stay under control. Stay within the framework of the game plan. It'll be fine. He didn't call timeout to stop a run by Hartsville. He called timeout to reassure his guys what they've worked on is fine and will work if they just keep at it.
LR on the inbounds. That's Kenneth McFadden bottled up, and he's able to kick it over to Edward Stevens. Back now to McFadden, his 6'3" senior. LR goes low to Vincent Hicklin. Hicklin spinning in the lane, and that one is rejected. Big time play there by Hartsville, and Devontae Washington, his third block of the night. Now slicing in is Eric Eves. The lane collapses, but he draws the foul.
Eves, the all-state point guard for Lower Richland, has not even gotten a shot up yet.
Well,
that was a common foul. They're going to inbound baseline right.
It's hard for any of these LR players to get a shot up in the lane when you've got Devontae Washington there, 6'4" junior, waiting to swat it away. Long outlet pass. Lower Richland is able to control, almost taken away by Jalen Shaw.
That was another good look.
Rebound goes to Hartsville, but off the foot of Devontae Washington. Out of bounds to Lower Richland.
That shot was a little strong, I think, because he was not out of control by any stretch of the imagination, but a little fast. As I said last night, offense is slow, defense is fast. You want to get the offense going crazy.
39 seconds remaining here in the first period. LR right wing, Edward Stevens. Big battle in the lane going on between Vincent Hicklin for Lower Richland and Devontae Washington for Hartsville. Spinning in. Another block. Devontae Washington. Boy, did he bring the fly sweater to the Florence Civic Center. 4 block shots for Devontae.
4 block shots in the first 8 minutes of the game. And as I said, Eric Samuel pointed out to me, said, write down Tevin Prescott. He averages 4.5 blocks a game. He'll swat him tonight. He didn't say anything about Devontae Washington. He already has 4.
10 seconds left. Launching a three-pointer. His short left side. But he gets back the rebound. That's Jalen Shaw. Now a three-pointer launched by Prescott. Nothing doing. Rebound goes to Hartsville, and time expires. That's the end of the first period, with Hartsville leading Lower Richland 9-2. Stay with us here from Florence, South Carolina. You're watching the South Carolina High School League Network. Welcome back to Florence. Birch, Antley, Allen Smothers with you. 9-2, Hartsville leading to start the second period. With possession, Lower Richland. That's Marcus Edmonds, 6'2" junior.
I have no doubt that Zeke Washington just told his team during that quarter break, no big deal, stay with it.
Beautiful sky hook by Edward Stevens. Yeah, you're right. I think Zeke Washington is saying, stay with the plan, guys.
Stay the
Play your game.
Stay the course. Everything's fine. Stay the course.
Well, the Diamond Hornets, their road through the playoffs, really never left Hopkins until now, as they had all of their games at home at the Diamond Mine. They knocked off Marlboro County in the first round. in Myrtle Beach in the second.
I just wish I had a better George Bush impression. Stay the course.
1,000 points of light.
There you go.
Lower Richland
Throw that in there.
knocking off Lake Marion to advance here to Florence. Now Hartsville, they had to go on the road. Their first 2 games were at home as they defeated Dreer and then knocked off your Socastee Braves, and then the big road win over Wilson.
They just had 2 turnovers. Lower Richland got a good shot, got a look at a 3 off the back iron, and now Hartsville throws it out of bounds on the inbound. Diamond Hornets under their own basket. Chance to cut into the lead again.
Grabbing the pass is Alonzo Gibson. Keep it alive for the Diamond Hornets. LR slowing down the pace. Nice screen there, and they'll go for the 3-ball. Left wing, nothing doing, but the rebound and the stuff. Vincent Hicklin, 6'5" junior, wakes up the crowd in support of the Diamond Hornets. And a large contingent of fans here from Hartsville as the Foxes nearby. There's a nice friendly roll for Hartsville and Devontae Washington.
Birch, I'm just hoping that we don't have another game by an all-state performer like we've had earlier today that just cannot find. It was Marquis McKelvey from Marion, and for the C.E. Murray Lady War Eagles, Naomi Moore could not get off the tracks or find the tracks this morning to get going, and so far it's been Eric Eves who's missed both of his attempts. I know it's early going, but we've seen a little bit of Jalen Shaw, but I want to see a lot of Shaw and Eves leading their teams.
Right now, it has been all Devontae Washington for Hartsville, a 6'4" junior who's gotten it done on defense and has poured in some points as well on the offensive side.
Another turnover by Hartsville. That was over and back, but sometimes people don't understand. You have to be entirely in the front court and go entirely in the back court. I don't know if that qualified there, but LR will take it.
Good looking shot, but in and out there for Eves. Just hard to find a friendly cylinder for Eric Eves. I mean, that one right there, a perfect look at the basket.
Great shot. It was a great shot.
Just lipped out.
Yeah. And McKelvey had so many of those today. So did Naomi Moore, for that matter.
Jalen Shaw on the handle. Picks up the dribble and tosses over to Prescott. Taken away by LR. And Edward Stevens catches the pass. Will drive baseline. Stevens goes up. And he is fouled by Devontae Washington, who came ever so close to picking up his 5th block of the night.
Actually, they're going to call that foul on Tevin Prescott. And I didn't know who they would give it to, but it's going to give Eves a chance to score from the line. And again, it's just there. Again, he pulled the string on that one. It's sometimes, I don't know, maybe I'm being overly analytical here, but sometimes when you are the all-state performer or the state player of the year, expected to be the guy that puts the team on your back,
you can put too much pressure on yourself,
and it
you kind of psych yourself out.
Exactly,
of the
it comes
game.
out in a negative way for your team, and that sometimes it's just best to clear your mind. I tell you what I'm doing. I'm trying to do that on my golf game now. I stand over the ball and I say, "Pink elephants," or something. Just think something besides hitting a bad shot. Of course, then I proceed to hit a bad shot.
11-6 is your score here. 5:38. Hartsville leading Lower Richland, and we're fighting to see who will represent the lower state in Class 3A state championship next week in Columbia. Eves at the line, puts up a shot, and still he cannot find a friendly roll. Eric Eves struggling here so far, the all-state player, with 5:38 remaining.
Joey Madigan called a foul against Hartsville on that rebound attempt, so Lower Richland's going to keep the ball underneath their own basket. Joey Manigault, by the way, the official in the lane with the basketball, one of the top officials at any level. I'm talking NBA, college, high school. Joey Manigault is one of the very, very best out of Georgetown.
Got a great crew working this game here for the 3A Lower State Championship. 5 minutes, 38 seconds left here in the first half. 11-6 is your score, Hartsville. And at the line right now is Vincent Hicklin, who had the monster jam after the offensive rebound earlier. There's a good offensive rebound and put back by Alonzo Gibson, the 6'3 junior. And it is a 3-point ball game right now. Big rebound there for Hicklin, getting some help from Eves, who streaks down the near sideline, and ball is out of bounds to Lower Richland.
Pulled away from him, but Zeke Washington will be able to remind his kids now here when they get the next dead ball or timeout. He'll say, guys, see, the good shots that we had, the good looks didn't go in, but now we're getting some garbage buckets. That'll make up for it. But then again, we got to make foul shots. And they've missed a boatload
on the inbounds to Edmonds. Right side to Stevens. As he trots down the baseline, and the ball is kicked out of bounds by Hartsville. So again, LR will inbounds underneath their basket. Long outlet to Gibson, taken away by Hartsville. Hartsville on the run, and Jalen Shaw was bumped going to the basket by Alonzo Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson's very lucky he didn't get an intentional foul called right there. The way he pushed the shooter without actually attempting to block the shot.
Getting
very
ready
fortunate.
To check in for Hartsville is Freddie Jackson, the sophomore, as he reports to the scorer's table, and he will check in for Donnie Benjamin.
Yeah, we got a Freddie and a Teddy Jackson. They're twins. Tiny little fellers.
They're both sophomores, and they're both 5'5", Freddie and Teddy. Twins for the Hartsville Foxes.
Now, I'm a tiny little feller vertically, not so much horizontally, but I'm taller than they are.
On the inbounds now, Tevin Prescott for Hartsville. Long outlet over to Freddie Jackson, who just checked in. And Jalen Shaw will drive out. They kick it outside to McPhail, and his three-pointer is off target. The pace of this game has kind of slowed down a bit now, Allen, as we're reaching the 5-minute mark here in the second period.
And that's been the case almost every game we've called, yesterday and today, that the first 4 minutes were very helter-skelter.
Nice bucket there by Tevin Prescott to rise up and get the tip in. 6'6" senior. And LR forced to call a timeout as that smothering defense by Hartsville. Gibson was unable to find an open man and had to call the timeout to avoid the 5-second violation.
Yeah, and I think that's the way Hartsville advanced to this lower state championship game when they went to Wilson on Tuesday night. They were able to, pressure the Tigers like they've never been pressured before. And it's not so much a suffocating pressure, but it's a smart, rotating pressure. When we coached the full court press or the three-quarter court press, it's not the pressure on the ball, it's the rotation on the backside, because you've got to anticipate where the ball is going to be passed onto the weak side of the floor. And if you rotate properly, you can get the interception or at least cause some chaotic activity by the offense.
Eric Eves will bring it into front court, being guarded closely by Freddie Jackson for Hartsville. Trying to work it into the low post to Hicklin. And another substitution now for Hartsville. Checking in for the Foxes, Naquan Pearson. Second time he's entered the ball game. Stevens on the inbounds over to Eves, left wing. Eves fighting for some space, spinning in the lane. Takes the shot. does not drop, but he will go to the line as he was fouled. Eves showing good penetration there.
He's under control. I mean, I don't think he's getting frustrated at all. And that is the trait of a big-time player, all-state performer. He's not going to get frustrated. He needs to make some foul shots, though.
Makes that one. Finally gets the friendly roll from the rim. Lower Richland, they've had some outstanding teams, some legendary players like Big Stanley Roberts and JoJo English. And I'll tell you a great story about JoJo English that a lot of folks don't know or maybe have forgotten about. When he was a senior at Lower Richland High School, there was a high school slam dunk competition over at the Carolina Coliseum. Michael Jordan was there, and somehow or another, Michael Jordan was enticed by JoJo English to get on the court, and they went head-to-head, mano a mano. JoJo English was matching everything Michael Jordan could do for 5 consecutive dunks. Then Michael Jordan kicks off the penny loafers and says, "Go get my shoes." So he laces up the Jordans, goes to the free throw line, hammers it home, and the contest was over.
Yeah, well, Jordan has a very enormous ego, and even if a high school kid is matching you, not trying to better you, but match you, Jordan has got to put you in your place. I've not had a lot of dealings with Michael, but having friends in the NBA and having worked with the Charlotte Bobcats.
Oh, that's a tumble over there going over the table here on press row is little Freddie Jackson. Boy, I mean, he just went right onto this concrete floor and popped right back up. He's A-OK. Gets back on the court. Good hustle.
Most impressed by with Hartsville here in the first half, not that they're leading Lower Richland or the impressive block shots that they've had, but they're getting hands on everything. Look at that, right there. See, they're getting hands on passes, they're getting hands on shots, they're getting hands in the passing lane.
Devontae Washington wide open, and he gets the easy bucket. And that was Washington again that got the hand on the pass.
Right.
And then quickly hustles down court and is able to pick up the bucket.
Coaches,
here's Eves for 3. Did not get the bounce, and it's Hartsville basketball. Quickly now with Jalen Shaw. Now inside Prescott. Oh, was that Washington? That was Washington, Devontae Washington.
I was going to say, Birch, coaches chart deflections. Doesn't matter if you steal it or if you cause a turnover, just get fingertips on the ball. It disrupts the offense. It disrupts the flow of the offense. Coaches chart deflections, and right now, if you're charting deflections in this game, Hartsville is about 3 or 4 to 1 right now.
Onto the floor now, Lakeith Ingram. First time Lakeith has entered the game. He's a sophomore. Looks like Greg Frazier onto the floor as well for Hartsville. No, that's Pearson again. And Washington drops in the second shot after missing the first. And it's Hartsville now by 7, 17 to 10. Make that 18 to 10, I'm sorry.
Another hand on a pass, on the inbound. I mean, that right now, Lower Richland's going, we can't get anything going. You know, they're stopping everything we're trying. It'll get in your head after a while.
LR will try again. Here on the inbounds pass from Edward Stevens. Half-court press. Now they relax, Hartsville does. Boy, look at the work Freddie Jackson does on defense. And again, they're getting hands on the ball, Hartsville, as they knocked that one away from Eves. How about little Freddie Jackson, the 5'5 sophomore who has come off the bench?
He's the Energizer Bunny.
He's got quick hands, quick feet, good eyes. And the man-on-man defense, he's tough to go against. There's Eves showing his penetration. That's what he does best. He's driving the lane, getting high above the rim and just laying it in.
It might be the first uncontested shot that Eves and LR has had this evening. Our final game of 8 in a day and a half to decide who plays next weekend. And the Colonial Life Arena, and I'm looking forward to joining you and Emerson and our friend Stacy Huff and a couple of others. I understand we're going to have some TV guys join
we'll have
us.
some courtside reporters.
Courtside reporters, yeah.
A lot of action during halftime with interviews and wonderful stories. Bob Shields will be joining us for that, so it should be a good time on the South Carolina High School League Network. Be sure to check the channel listings in South Carolina for your local stations by checking out our website, SCHSL.TV. While you're there, go ahead and order your DVD copy of tonight's broadcast or any other. And look at Freddie Jackson dropping it in and drawing the foul.
I think they're going to say this was a common foul before the shot.
So they wave off the basket then. Yeah, so Jackson will not get the points, and he will not go to the line. As Allen called a common foul. They get it out to McPhail, left side, and now drifting to the top of your screen is Jalen Shaw. Shaw, low post, Devontae Washington. Boy, has he been special here tonight for Hartsville. 6'4" junior, and another timeout. This one taken by Zeke Washington, the head coach for the Lower Richland Diamond Hornets, as his team has fallen behind by 8 now. And it's a full timeout here. Hartsville fast on defense and offense, but they are also scrappy.
Yeah, well, this timeout was not for anything other than to get some things off his chest.
Yeah.
Get some things off his mind that's been weighing on him for the past few minutes, because they hadn't played any defense, especially in the low post in the last couple of possessions. And this is not to say, okay, guys, everything's fine. This one is to say, get off your rear end and start concentrating on stopping that low post pass, because right now Devontae Washington and Tevin Prescott are eating you alive, and Jalen Shaw is doing whatever he wants to do on the perimeter.
So LR on the court right now: Sam Cole, Brandon Stroman, Brennan Montgomery, Kenneth McFadden, and Edward Stevens. So Zeke Washington has pulled all of his starters. All of the players right now on the court for Lower Richland, they're bench players.
Well, he asked who wanted to play some defense. He didn't care what happened on the offensive end. Who wants to play some defense?
Driving in, Edward Stevens blocked away by guess who? Devontae Washington. A handful of blocks tonight for number 30 for Hartsville. And you were told by Coach Eric Samuel that Tevin Prescott is his shot blocker.
Well, Tevin is acquiescing tonight to Devontae Washington, that's for sure. And we'll see some. Oh yeah. Now see the pressure in the backcourt calls that. I was about to say we'll see some renewed desire on this defensive set right here. We'll see some renewed commitment to defense from what Zeke Washington talked to him about during that last timeout.
McFadden being guarded by Freddie Jackson. McFadden crosses the timeline, almost threw that pass away, but Stevens recovers.
See, another fingertip on that pass. They couldn't get into whatever offense they wanted to get into right there.
LR, left wing is Stevens. Now back to McFadden. Trying to go into the post, and there's Sam Cole. That shot is off the mark. That was Alonzo Gibson, actually.
Block.
Finally, LR, they continue to fight, and Gibson is able to drop it in.
See, the offense will take care of itself.
Oh, that was almost a huge dunk by Hartsville and Jalen Shaw, who just came out of nowhere, but he missed the slam.
That one might not go in the book, but that'll go on the highlight reel.
Yeah.
That was a highlight missed shot.
And if he would have been able to flush that one down, the lid would have popped off from the Florence Civic Center.
Yeah, they exploded anyway for the miss. Like I said, that was a highlight miss.
Minute 16 remaining here in the first half.
And he wants to get his big guys out. That's smart. Eric Samuel, he's on his game tonight. He had a big smile on his face before the game, and he felt confident. He feels like his team is ready, and he is on his game coaching. He got Washington and Prescott out of the game to keep them from getting fouls. Or Prescott's in there. Uh-oh.
Prescott driving in.
Ooh, he almost
no
picked
call.
it up. He got Washington out.
And now LR in transition.
Joey must have got a piece of the arm. I thought we had another block shot.
Kenneth McFadden, 6'3" senior, to the line for Lower Richland. Brandon Avant into the ball game now for Hartsville. He sinks the first, and it's a 5-point lead for Hartsville with under a minute. Getting ready to check in for Hartsville is Zeke Copeland. Second shot is good.
Again, another situation where it doesn't feel like Hartsville's up by more than 4 points right now.
It does, but Lower Richland,
give them credit.
They've hung around with
fighting.
A rotation right now that's featuring 4 bench players and only 1 starter. That's Alonzo Gibson. Takeaway here, Lower Richland. Spinning in is Stevens to the hoop, and he got it. Edward Stevens. Beautiful lay-in with the right hand from the left side of the rim. Now driving in is Avant for Hartsville. Kicks it back outside. Zeke Copeland for 3. Fresh into the ball game. Zeke Copeland buries the tray.
There was the rotation I was talking about on the press.
Good pass there. The shot in and out for Brennan Montgomery.
Foul on Alonzo Gibson on the offensive rebound attempt, but you didn't see it because the ball did not rotate to the weak side, but the defense did. On that play, Jalen Shaw rotated from the half-court line back, anticipating the cross-court pass. Had they thrown it to the LR bench side, it would have been intercepted. He rotated perfectly. The ball came up the right sideline, and they were able to get the rebound off the Lower Richland miss. But 3-point shot, Jalen Shaw now. But I was going to say earlier, this goes hand in hand with what I was saying about during the first time out. Zeke Washington said, our plan is fine, keep it up. And what I meant to add to that, and I was going to a moment ago, the offense will take care of itself. You'll find offense from somewhere. The shots that weren't falling will start falling. Don't worry about that. You've got to play on that end.
Driving down now, Edward Stevens. He's being checked by McPhail for Hartsville. 10 seconds left. Lower Richland's going to have to hurry here if they want to get a shot off before the half. Now Hartsville with a takeaway. Hartsville, Jalen Shaw is fouled with 2 seconds left. Jalen Shaw with the pick, taking it strong to the basket and draws the foul. At the end of the first period up in Greenville, it is Southside leading Wade Hampton of Greenville 14-10. That's in the Upper State
I thought it was a football game there for a minute. Of course, we had the low-scoring first quarter as well. This is a huge momentum swing because LR could have cut it, to a one-possession game, but instead they turn it over at half court.
And Shaw buries both free throws. Time is going to expire. The shot is up. The buzzer sounds, and that is it for the first half of basketball here in the 3A Lower State Championship as Hartsville leads Lower Richland 25-18. Stay with us. We'll be back in Florence in just a moment here on the SCHSL Network.
Yeah. Yes.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Florence Civic Center. Birch, Antley, Allen, Smothers with you. We're at the half and joined now by the Associate Commissioner of the South Carolina High School League, Mrs. Drew Nix. Drew, thank you so much for joining us. And, boy, what a way to end the lower state championships in a beautiful facility here in Florence. We've had great crowds through 8 games. Understand we've had wonderful crowds up in Greenville at the By Center as well, and I encourage everyone to go ahead, get their tickets next week for the state finals, the Colonial Life Arena in Columbia. Hats off to you and your staff, and what a great representation we have had on the court, not only with the play and the talent, but also the sportsmanship that's been displayed here today.
Absolutely, Birch. Thanks so much. We can't say enough about the Florence Civic Center and the By Center. I understand that we had our largest crowd ever at the By Center this weekend. This weekend has been super. For the first year in this area, in this community, I've just been so impressed with the knowledge of the basketball fans in this area, and wonderful turnout and just great play. All the games have been just good contests, well officiated. Just been a good weekend.
Yeah, and I've noticed a lot of C.E. Murray and Timminsville fans that were here for the first game this morning. They're still here, Drew. It's been a full day of basketball for them, but for $10, think about all the wonderful entertainment that you can get just coming out and supporting high school athletics.
Absolutely. They were standing, waiting for the gates to open at 10 this morning, and they're still sitting in the stands, and that just shows you how much these folks appreciate the talent of our student athletes here. And like I said, it's just been a wonderful weekend.
Well, Drew, let's talk about one of the initiatives of the South Carolina High School League, if we can, and that is promoting sportsmanship and character, on the court or on the field or off. And one thing that I like that we've started with the South Carolina High School League is we're giving out awards now, region awards for sportsmanship. And that is where coaches in the region will select teams that they felt like demonstrated the best sportsmanship during the school year.
That's correct, and they're selected by their peers, and there's nothing more than, that means more than an award when you receive one selected by your peers. But beyond that, Birch, we also offer 4 student sportsmanship leadership conferences around the state. Every school brings 4 student athletes and a coach. They hear everything from collegiate speakers, NCAA comes in, clearinghouse, you just go on. And I think this weekend is a prime example of what those initiatives have established. We've had no issues here whatsoever. It's been good, clean play. We haven't even had a technical.
That's right.
We got a half to go, but we still haven't even had a technical foul, and we haven't had anyone removed from the arena. It's been wonderful.
That's right. They become ambassadors for the South Carolina High School League, and then they carry that into adulthood as well when they go out and serve the communities after high school. So kudos to yourself, to Jerome Singleton, to Nessie, to Skip Lax, to Bruce Hulian, everybody involved in the South Carolina High School League. You're all so passionate about the Palmetto State and promoting high school athletics, and we certainly appreciate what you do.
Well, thanks, Birch. We hope that we're all producing fine citizens later in life. That's what high school athletics is all about, and our coaches are on board with this along with our administrators, and it's just a win-win for everyone.
It certainly is. Well, I like to think that it produced me. I was a product of Batesburg-Leesville High School, played baseball over there, and have always held high esteem for athletics here in the state of South Carolina. Thank you for what you do and everything you're doing to help us here on the SCHSL network and with Play on Sports.
All right, we thank you.
Thank you, Drew Nix, for stopping by and spending time with us courtside as we're ready for second half action to get underway here. The final 16 minutes of action from the Florence Civic Center as we wrap up the box, put the bow on top. The final game of 8 here in this arena for the lower state championships. 25-18 is your score. Hartsville in the lead with possession. Hartsville moving left to right in the red as we switch sides of the court now. 3-point attempt by Jalen Shaw. And welcome back in Alan Smothers, my broadcast partner for these wonderful 2 days of action here from Florence. And Alan, it has been fun, and we've seen excellent basketball.
Oh, today's, all 6 games today have been great. And, well, I thought we would have a one-up on our friends from Greenville at the By Center, but they've caught us. It's halftime at the By Center now, and Wade Hampton has caught Southside.
30-28, Wade Hampton leading Southside, the defending 3A state champs. Here in Florence, it is Hartsville 25 and Lower Richland 18. Driving in is McPhail, a little short on that shot. The rebound is going to be cleared away by Lower Richland into the hands of Kenneth McFadden. McFadden up ahead to Montgomery. Montgomery drives in. Shot does not fall, neither does Gibson's tip in, but there is Vincent Hicklin to get the basket and draws the foul, and he will head to the free throw line.
Things start out the same way here in the second half they did in the first for the Diamond Hornets, but just as was the case early on, Zeke Washington imploring his guys to continue to fight, and that's what Hicklin did right there. He continued to fight, and he got paid off with a three-point play.
Alan, we were talking with Drew Nix just moments ago, and she said their estimation up in Greenville, the By Center, nearly 12,000 people through the turnstiles there. That is huge, and we've had great crowds coming through here in Florence as well. Fast break for Lower Richland and pinned off the backboard, but LR is right there for the follow-through. Alonzo Gibson, good job for Gibson to continue with that play.
Continue to fight. That's all a coach wants.
Hartsville gets the friendly roll.
An excuse me bucket.
And Hartsville's lead at 4. Lower Richland had cut it to 2. And now Hartsville on the answer. Here's Eric Eves. He's really got to get heated up here in the second half for Lower Richland.
Well, I can tell you this.
Mad dash for the rebound, and it's controlled by Hicklin, and he draws the foul.
If we'd have had a Hartsville-Darlington or a Wilson-Darlington matchup in this game tonight, we'd have 8,000 in here too, I guarantee it. This seat's just over 8,000.
Hicklin, his shot rims out. Trying to carve into that lead that Hartsville has. Alan, at one time, I believe back in the first half, Hartsville was leading by as many as 10. But LR has continued to battle, and now it is a 3-point Hartsville lead.
And Zeke Washington knew that the offense will take care of itself.
There's a takeaway by LR and Edward Stevens. And Eves loses it out of bounds on the far sideline, so it's back to Hartsville.
But you'll see Zeke with a smile on his face now. Defense creates offense, and the Diamond defense is better here in the second half than it was in the first.
Jalen Shaw puts 4 fingers in the air, bounce pass over left side to Benjamin. There's a takeaway there. The defense has arrived here in the second half for Lower Richland. Far sideline, driving in is Eves, rejected by Donnie Benjamin, the 6'4" forward. The senior taking a page out of the book of Devontae Washington. And
seeing for the first time, a mountain of a man come in. Senior Jamar Walker.
For Lower Richland in jersey number 35, 6'7" senior Walker. Leading scorers through the first half of action. Eves, Stevens, and Gibson for LR, all with 4. Prescott with 8 for Hartsville, and Washington with 7.
So the 2 All-Staters still not the leaders, at least offensively, of these teams.
Yeah, and I checked with Lou from the Florence Morning News, who does a great job covering high school sports in the PD area, and he had Washington credited with 7 blocks in the first half.
Yep. Devontae Washington came, as you said, with his flash water supercharged tonight.
Yeah, you can go to just about any high school sporting event in the PD area, and you'll see Lou there with his laptop.
Well, I've always said, having done a sports talk show here in the Florence area for nigh on 8 years, the Florence Morning News does a better job on high school sports than any paper in the state. They like their high school sports and cover it.
There's Big Walker picking up the foul. 6'7" senior Jamar Walker. The first time that we've seen him in this ball game, he comes in here in the third period.
Even
just over 4 minutes to play.
Even during this day of budget cuts and staff reductions, the Florence Morning News still, they embraced this event. I think I said that when you were on with us on our sports talk show yesterday, that they embraced this event. They know this is a big deal for Florence, and if this is successful, think what else could be coming to this town that they will be able to write about and be able to promote. Mark Hazelden has been here from the Flomo all day long, and Lou Bajak, and then of course Sam Bundy, the sports editor of the Florence Morning News, wrote a very cool article about, is Florence a sports city? And you can explain that or answer that in many ways.
Well, it certainly is this weekend with the great high school basketball here at the Civic Center. Mad dash, and that's going to be a travel called on Prescott. No, Devontae Washington, who was going up for the pull down. And I tell you, Lower Richland, they've cut this to a 2-point Hartsville lead again, Alan.
Why? Defense.
Yep.
Defense, defense, defense.
And in the first half, you said that's what Zeke Washington was going to tell his players in the locker room. And obviously, that was his halftime speech.
He got his point across.
Was that defense is going to win a championship.
Now, Hartsville's defense was much, much better than the Diamond Hornets in the first half. And while they've not sloughed off a bit, Eric Samuel, I think, is trying to get his guys to be a little more attuned to that.
Eric Eves has it swatted away by Jackson. Now ahead to Shaw. Still a 2-point ball game as Shaw could not connect, and the rebound was grabbed by Walker. Lower Richland now. Edward Stevens going into the lane, and it's knocked away by Hartsville. Tie up on the floor. Possession arrow will go to Hartsville.
When you see scrums like that, you know both teams are playing their hearts out defensively. They want possession of that basketball. They know that the value of that basketball is all that matters tonight.
Vincent Hicklin checks back in off the bench for LR, so a big lineup on the floor right now for Lower Richland with Hicklin 6'5" and Jamar Walker 6'7". Right wing, Jackson is going to give it away, and it was out of the fingertips of Keith Ingram. It's LR basketball.
Freddie just crossed up his own teammate. He thought he was going to shoot there. Instead, he shoveled him a pass, and he wasn't ready for it.
Marcus Edmonds being guarded by Jackson. Floats one over to Walker. They work it inside to Hicklin. Hicklin, little left-handed scooper is good. And what do you know? We're tied at 27 with 3:10 remaining in this ball game. Let's see if Hartsville can answer. Blocked away by Vincent Hicklin on the slap.
Hicklin has come alive. He was pretty effective offensively in the first half. Here in the second half, he's gotten a little extra juice from the addition of Jamar Walker in the ball game. Walker now is able to work with his back to the basket, and Hicklin is able to work with his face to the basket, and he's freed up on the perimeter a little more.
So Jalen Shaw will have the inbounds pass for Hartsville. Dishes it out to Washington at the top of the key. Washington tosses right side. Getting a hand on the basketball for Lower Richland is Marcus Edmonds. And now LR taking a page out of the Hartsville script from the first half when Hartsville was doing such a good job of just getting hands on the basketball on defense. Now LR is doing the same here in the third period.
What the Diamond Hornets are doing better in the second half is anticipating passes. Now, they got their hands on a share of passes in the first half as well, but they're more in tune with the flow of Hartsville's offense and understanding what Hartsville wants to do, getting their hands in those passing lanes. And I'm telling you what, our friend Marcus Edmonds has got to be a candidate for the all-hair team. I mean, he's running the kid and play dude.
He's got the
showing my age again.
High top fade going on.
High top fade. Yeah, the kid and play. They were old school rappers with the high fade like that back in the 80s. Man,
and movie stars.
Yeah, and I said on my sports talk show last week, somebody said, what is the Jeremy Lin fascination like? And I said, well, you can compare it to the Tim Tebow situation. They said, no, it's more like Fernando Valenzuela. Fernando made it. I said, well, people don't remember Fernando Valenzuela. I don't think the young people even think that humans walked the earth in the 1980s. There's Cro-Magnon man in the 1980s.
There's a turnover by Hartsville, so Lower Richland with a chance here to take the lead for what would be the first time in this ball game, Alan, if they can score on this trip down the court. Hartsville has never lost the lead, and we've got a tie game for the first time. 2.5 minutes to play here in the third period. It's 27-27. Hartsville takes it away, though, and Hartsville on the run with numbers. Get that one out of here. Another block by Hickland, but Hartsville maintains possession. And then they lose it away to LR, and a loose ball. Possession goes to Hartsville. It was not a tie-up. It was back into the back court.
You can tell that we are in the final quarter plus of somebody's season. Neither of these teams want it to come to an end.
Nobody wants to clean out the locker just yet. They want one more game, and that one's for all the glory. The state title in Columbia a week from now. Running point here for Hartsville is the All-State Jalen Shaw. Shaw slowing down the pace, backing out away from Edmonds. Now he charges in. And Shaw loses the handle, but it's picked up by McPhail. Benjamin over to McPhail. Cuts in, has it. Put him on the line.
Jalen Shaw with a dribble drive, the bucket and the hoop. Coming from the line for Jalen Shaw, the All-Stater, 19 points, 7 assists. And he has done both tonight, but you could tell, or at least I'm thinking, we're in the last 2 minutes, third quarter. Jalen Shaw's got the ball high on the point. Far sideline, he's drawing the defenders to him so he can spread the court and be able to dribble, penetrate the lane, and like he did right there.
Completes the trifecta. Jalen Shaw, LR having trouble getting around this press by Hartsville, but finally Eves gets it across. He'll take the jumper, and he is fouled in the process. I believe that may have been McPhail that got a hand on him. Let's see. No, the foul is on Devontae Washington, actually.
Washington actually had another blocked shot had he not come down on Eves and drove the foul.
And Eves drops in the first shot. He has another. Eric Eves, 6'3" senior. Knocks down the second. And it's a 2-point Red Foxes advantage. Jalen Shaw passes across to Washington. Washington ducks in, but Hickland is right there to deny. And LR off to the races again. Backing away now is Edmonds. Forces it ahead to Stevens, left wing. McPhail guarding Stevens. Stevens almost loses it, but is able to recover and dish out to Edmonds, who hands off to Eric Eves. Eves being covered by Donnie Benjamin. So 29 is our score here from Florence with 49 seconds remaining here in the third period. What a battle this has become here in the second half between Hartsville and LR. Eves driving in. Nice little underhanded pass over to Hickland. Count the basket. The hoop and the harm is there for Hickland. And Lower Richland for the first time here tonight. Allen, they have the lead by one. They can make it two here if Hickland can convert on the old-fashioned three-point play.
That was as nifty a wraparound pass for the hoop by Eves
Off the front iron, but Hickland is able to get his own rebound. Off the miss, but then take it away. Jalen Shaw with the pickpocket. Hartsville with numbers. Over to McPhail, high off the glass. Does not drop. Shaw is there, puts it back up. No. Stevens with the rebound.
Eric Samuel may need a timeout just to settle his guys down offensively. The Hornets have taken them out of what they want to do.
Edward Stevens, 6'1" senior. Left-handed dribble down to the right. Going into the lane, looking for the big man. He coughs it up. Taken away by Hartsville and Jalen Shaw. Shaw, nice nifty pass to Washington, who breaks it in off the center square, but they're going to wave it off.
They're gonna confer. I think it was afterward. No, they count it. Joey Manigault says count it. And Zeke Washington begs to differ, but he calls his guys over to the bench to let the officials sort it out. And now they wave it off. I think that's the right call, Birch. The horn is so hard to hear in this building, and we don't have the lights around the backboard to be able to determine whether it went down. I honestly think that is the right call, because I think I heard the horn, even though we're wearing headsets, I think I heard the horn before he let go of the shot.
Yeah, and it has gotten loud here in the Florence Civic Center. These fans from Hartsville and from Lower Richland really into it, especially after a furious exchange down there. And you're correct, Alan. Unable to hear the horn. So the third period has come to a close. We're now into the final stanza. Are you ready? 8 more minutes to go to find out who is punching their ticket to the capital city for the 3A state championship. The winner will take on either Wade Hampton of Greenville or Southside of Greenville. And we've got our first technical foul, I believe, right there. Alan Smothers just called on the Lower Richland bench.
What?
Technical foul called on Zeke Washington.
They called it on a player.
Oh, they did get it on a player? Okay.
Yeah.
It was on
That is
Hickland.
not good.
I believe, yep, Hickland will take a seat on the bench, and that is our first technical foul of this entire weekend.
The weekend, yeah.
As Jalen Shaw drops in the first, and we're tied again at 31 apiece. Shaw knocks down the second, and Hartsville will have possession again. And, here's what's even more bad news for LR. Because of that technical foul, Hickland, who has played a whale of a game, has to sit out. He is on the bench beside his coaches. So Hickland not on the court right now, who has been fantastic. High jumper by Washington. Can he get the roll? No. But he indeed drew the foul, it looks like. Devontae Washington, who dumped in 7 points in the first half, along with 7 blocked shots in the first half of action.
And Devontae needs to become more of a force for Hartsville in the second half, or in the last quarter, I should say, because he was pretty much the entire offense and defense in the first quarter. Then he hadn't heard much from him since. I think that he can be a big factor, especially with Jamar Walker still in the ballgame.
Washington knocks down a pair of free throws
for the technicals and then the foul shots.
That's a big swing there for
6
Hartsville.
points, really. because it took a bucket off on the other end. That could be a 6-point swing.
Eves over in the right corner. Now to Stevens, right side of your screen. Eves, he wants a three. Doesn't get the roll, and the rebound falls into the hands of Shaw for Hartsville. And here come the Red Foxes. Shaw is going to dish underneath to Washington. What a play! How about that? Jalen Shaw, just a beautiful little right-handed push over to Devontae Washington, who gets the hoop and the harm. He's on the line, and that is an 8-point run. Could possibly be 9 here if Devontae Washington drops in this free throw.
Yeah, and Zeke Washington has got to say something to his guards on that drive.
This all started with that technical foul.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Jalen Shaw was rushing the ball up court, Eric Eves just gave him a little Olay defense. He reached out, and as Shaw's going by, he turned and watched. You know, that you've got to play 100% all the time.
Here comes Eves now, driving baseline. Again, Washington with a block. That's number 8 on the night. And Hartsville driving in. Got it. And put him on the line. That is Zeke Copeland for Hartsville. And boy, has Hartsville just gone on a run here, Alan. That technical foul that was called a few possessions ago on LR has really come back to bite the Diamond Hornets.
And we've got another
since then,
foul.
Hartsville has gone on an 11-point run.
We've got a second technical foul.
And that was the 4th personal foul called, I believe, on Edward Stevens for Lower Richland. Not sure. We'll try to get a number. 6:42 remaining in this ball game. Alonzo Gibson called for the technical. That shot is good.
That first technical is, I hate to say this because I wouldn't have agreed until just now when the second technical was called. That technical changed the entire complexion of this game.
Oh, I agree. Totally.
4 straight points, 2 technicals, 2 foul shots, then the steal in the bucket. The Olay defense played by the Hornets has given Hartsville supreme confidence right now.
They've gone on a 13-point run since that call.
Crazy. They were 31-30.
Nothing run since that call. 42-31. Hartsville on top now by 11 after Lower Richland had fought back into this game and had the lead by 2.
And not only that, possession of the basketball.
Here is Freddie Jackson, one half of the Jackson twins. They're both sophomores. They're both 5'5", Freddie and Teddy. We have yet to see Teddy on the court. Jalen Shaw weaving to his left, stops and kicks out to Devontae Washington. Benjamin, little head fake. Now over to Jackson. 6:14 remaining in this ball game. Hartsville wants to run a little clock here.
They're not going to be able to run it all out. They better start looking for lanes to the hoop, like that right there.
There's a kick out to Copeland. And now Shaw will pop one from 9 feet, in and out. And the rebound is claimed by Edward Stevens. Quickly up ahead to Eric Eves. Eves driving in the lane. And look at Jackson again, just giving up his body, Alan. That's the second time that young man has taken a dive under the concrete here at the Florence Civic Center. And look at him feeling the love from the crowd here in Florence. At the end of the 3rd period up in Greenville, it is a close one up there as Wade Hampton leads by 1, 49-48 over Southside. But Alan, man, oh man, that technical foul just really costly for Lower Richland. And then another technical foul several possessions later, and Hartsville, which trailed going into this 4th period, now leading by 11 points.
And I think Eric Samuel wants a timeout after this foul shot.
Eves at the line.
Just to calm his team down a bit.
Drops it in.
Now they're going to play.
Jalen Shaw weaving to the left. Eves almost takes it away from behind. And it's LR basketball. There's still plenty of time in this ball game for Lower Richland. They fought back from a deficit before. They can certainly do it again, but they've just got to keep their emotions in check and get back on their game. Stevens inside to Hicklin, and Hicklin has it taken away by Washington.
Another block shot.
Washington closing in on 10 block shots in this ball game.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. Freddie Jackson gives away to Washington, and now back to Jackson. Jackson's going to drive the lane. Beautiful pass. Washington can't convert.
Well, you can't draw
Freddie Jackson
dish much better than that.
Is a player.
Yep.
And he's only in the 10th grade.
Can't drive, draw, and dish much better than that.
Long outlet pass to Washington at midcourt. Now near sideline. Just over 5 minutes to play. Hartsville leading by double digits, 42-32. And there's that timeout from Eric Samuel's bench.
You know what? I think, and when I thought I saw Eric call for a timeout or talk to his point guard saying that, but Birch, I said it would have been a perfect time for a timeout. This may be even more so because they have been able to run some clock, get a bucket, get the ball back. All Eric Samuel wants to do now is tell his guys two things. One, we cannot run the clock out by dribbling around and playing willy-nilly. We've got to look to score. 10 points is 4 possessions, yes, but it's not that big a deal when you've got the size and the athleticism that LR has. The second thing he wants to tell them is that how many timeouts you have and be under control. I think I've said this earlier, but worth repeating that champions are the ones who can stay calm while chaos is going on around them. And LR wants to create chaos right now. Hartsville, all he said, stay calm. You're in control of this game.
Tevin Prescott will pull the trigger on the inbounds and gets it to Shaw. Shaw, well, dribble across the timeline. Shaw weaving into the lane, puts up a shot, and it drops.
I told you, he told them not to pull the air out of it yet. They've got to keep trying to score.
3-point attempt here by Patrick Brown, and Brown nails it.
There's why. There's why. 3-point is the equalizer. The 3-point shot.
Oh, and Eric Eves.
Oh, stop. Wow. You got to stop this play. He's seriously injured.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a break.
Stop the play.
This is the SCHSL Network. All right, we're back here at the Florence Civic Center. Just a dramatic scene here on the court. 4 minutes and 20 seconds are left in this ball game. Hartsville is leading 35-44. Here's what happened. I'll try to describe it as best I can, Alan. Is we saw Eric Eves just take a hard fall, a horrific fall. His head hit the hardwood of the Civic Center floor, and he was bleeding. He was moving. He was conscious. Then it appeared that what appeared to be a relative, a female relative of Eric Eves, comes down onto the court, is overtaken by emotion after seeing Eves in his condition, and then paramedics from the Florence County Rescue Squad work to revive her, but a 5 to 10 minute scene here where everybody holding their breaths here at the Florence Civic Center. Eric Eves is up. He is okay. Not sure if he will return to this ball game or not. And the lady who appeared to be a relative of his is being taken to a hospital here in Florence, to McLeod Health. But I'll tell you, hats off to the paramedics here in attendance and the physicians that are at this ball game, because that was just a scary scene to see.
Yeah, I wanted to.
But everything appears to be back to normal now.
I wanted to allow you to finish describing it, not to break your train of thought. I have to be very honest. That was a scary scene, and I was a little emotional because, as I said to you off air, I know pretty much, having coached as many years as I did and see as many kids go down with serious and some not so serious injuries where their ego is more bruised than their body. And so I have seen the seriousness of, I had a player have a heart attack and was legally dead on the court in an AAU tournament that I ran, Victor Harris from Raleigh, North Carolina, many years ago. And we had an EMS unit right behind Socastee High School that attended to him and revived him, and he still lives a lovely life now, whatever that may be. But that again, when he went down, I could tell immediately that it was serious.
And then on top of that, the relative that comes on to the floor and
you saw her go down before I did, and then like you said, they were actually massaging her heart before they were able to get an oxygen tank and a doctor onto the court. But you're absolutely right. Can't say enough about the EMS unit, the medics here at the Florence Civic Center for being on top of it, and they are still attending to the blood on the floor, because they have to make sure they get every last speck and sterilize the court at that point. But yeah, again, and now the players are warming up again, kind of like what you see after a halftime something. And you said 5 or 10 minutes in what seemed like an hour.
Yeah, so an extended delay here, and we've got 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this basketball game, so we'll try to get our thoughts back to basketball. But first, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll try to wrap this game up here, the 3A Lower State Championship from Florence. This is the SCHSL Network. All right, we're returning to live action now after the extended delay. 4 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Birch Antley, Alan Smothers with you. And at the free throw line is Freddie Jackson. And And Jackson drains it. The first shot for Hartsville.
And Birch, this extended delay could have a dramatic impact on the outcome of this game.
Could go one of two ways.
That's exactly right. Could go either way.
It could, really spark and inspire Lower Richland, or just, kind of put everyone in the doldrums. But let's see. A three-pointer missed there as he pulled the string on it. Edward Stevens. And flying to the basket is Jalen Shaw, picking up right where he left off before the break. Now Hickland driving in, and he'll pick up the foul as Zeke Copeland got a hand. 48-35 is your score. Red Foxes.
And if the Red Foxes run away with this one, obviously we can't put any, blame or discern the impact that the delay had. But as you alluded to, it could have put the perspective from the Lower Richland standpoint, put this game in perspective as it compares to the health of Eric Eves and his relative.
Hickland on the line. First shot is in.
Good stroke there. They're going to need to make a bunch of them and get some turnovers.
3 minutes, 53 seconds left on the clock. Hickland's second shot is good. And Hartsville back on the run. Jalen Shaw launches ahead to Jackson. Jackson over to Benjamin. There's Jalen Shaw being guarded by Hickland. Shaw picks up the screen and almost taken away by Lower Richland, but a foul is committed. And, going back to this basketball game, Alan, really the turning tide came at the start of the fourth period when Lower Richland drew a technical foul. Lower Richland at that time had the lead by one, and after that technical foul, Hartsville went on a 13-point run, and they lead it now 49-37 with Washington on the free throw line.
Yeah, that may have more of a dramatic impact than did the fall of Eric Eves.
So now it is 50-37 after the second free throw is nailed by Washington. Lower Richland. On the handle is Stevens. And he has it taken away by Zeke Copeland, but out of bounds to Lower Richland.
What else has been a big deciding factor in the outcome of this game tonight has been the heady play of Jalen Shaw and the energy of Freddie Jackson. He came in the second quarter, and I don't think he's left the court since.
Hickland puts up a jumper, and Hickland is fouled, so he'll head back to the free throw line. 6'5" junior has been shooting very well from the free throw line here in this ball game tonight. The winner of this game will advance to the state championship to play south side of Greenville, which knocked off the defending 3A state champions at the Bilo Center in Greenville. We got the word from Emerson Phillips that a freshman sensation came in, scored 7 minutes in the final minute for Southside to erase the deficit and take the lead. Yeah,
Jawan Evans, a freshman, scored 7 points in the final minute, and he said he stole the show out of, literally took the win right out of the pocket of Wade Hampton.
Basket is good by Devontae Washington. A three-pointer is good. He nailed it. Falling down, Edward Stevens, the 6'1" senior. Timeout on the floor, 2:39 left, 52-40 is your score.
And Donnie Benjamin was darn lucky he didn't get a foul call to make it a 4-point play opportunity, because that could have, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter I mean, you're as a coach, you say, well, if we'd have done this in the last 2 minutes, it would have made this happen and that happen. If you'd have done that in the first 2 minutes of the game, it could affect the outcome. Every point, and we try to impress as coaches on players, not just every point, but every possession is you can't imagine how important every possession is. Now, I won't go so far as I see some coaches, one that used to coach one of my favorite college teams, they coach every dribble. And I don't like to coach every dribble, but every possession, the value of the basketball is the ultimate thing. And points, you can't give away points.
LR loses the handle, but out of bounds off the Red Foxes. Donnie Benjamin right back to the Diamond Hornets with 2:34 remaining in this ball game. LR trailing by a dozen. Long three-pointer by Stevens off the front rim.
Great box out.
And Jackson comes down with the rebound, and he's going to be fouled by Stevens. This game should have been over about 20 minutes ago, and we had the extended delay due to an injury to a player and then to someone not even involved on the court, but a family member of the player that was injured. Going high for the rebound is Hicklin off the miss. And driving in is Stevens, and he got it. Nice bucket there for Stevens.
Yeah, you can't call timeout every possession, but you've got to get some stops. No, he can't. He's not going to call that. Good. Are you kidding me?
Hey.
He fouled him 30 feet from the bucket.
They'll count the basket and put him on the line. That's Jalen Shaw, who's had an outstanding ball game here tonight.
I don't know if that would have been good in the NBA. I don't know if you count the bucket in the NBA on that.
And this is the free throw, and now Stevens takes it into the front court for Lower Richland. LR's going to start thinking about three-pointers here. Instead, they go inside to Hicklin, and it's taken away by Hartsville. Mad dash on the floor, loose ball. The possession arrow goes to Hartsville.
Another instance of hands in the passing lane, anticipating passes. Hartsville's done all of that tonight.
We go under 2 minutes now with Hartsville ahead by 12. Jalen Shaw almost loses it here near sideline, and he does step on the sideline out of bounds. So Lower Richland back on possession here. LR still with time. Minute 44.
I was getting ready to play catch with Jalen Shaw. He was headed right for me, but boy, the dexterity he has to save the ball in bounds and keep his footing about it.
And travel called on Lower Richland's Kenneth McFadden. So it's Hartsville basketball here with a minute 35 seconds. And Alan, you've got to imagine that Hartsville is just going to try to play keep away and avoid being fouled and try to end this game as soon as possible.
Yeah, and it appears with the ball handlers they have, they can get that done. So,
but they throw it out of bounds here.
Yeah, if the Diamonds start deciding to foul, we could be here a while, but I don't know if they're going to do that or not.
Stevens wants a three. In and out, rebound, goes to Hartsville, and there's a foul by Stevens, and that should be 4 or 5 on Edward Stevens for Lower Richland.
I've credited and praised Jalen Shaw for his headiness earlier. That wasn't so heady. He had a man leading the break, Donnie Benjamin, and Benjamin would have been wide open for a game-sealing dunk, but instead they stopped the clock with a foul, and here he misses a foul shot.
That was Edward Stevens' 4th foul for Lower Richland, so he remains in the ball game, and Shaw connects on the second.
And I will remember forever the night that we played for the state championship. Birch and did not do the exact same thing. We were leading South Aiken.
Hickland with a nice little basket.
And they get the timeout. It's an 11-point game, but we were leading South Aiken by 2 with about 11 seconds to play in the game. They were inbounding the ball. Cortland Freeman stole the ball on our end of the court, and he was wide open. If he'd have just gone to the rim and dunked it, the game would have been over. But instead, he tried to run out the clock and got fouled, missed the foul shot, both of them. They pass ahead and throw up a 30-footer at the buzzer that banked off the board, went in for a 3, and we lost by 1.
Wow.
But if he dunks that, we win the state championship.
55-44. Oh, those were the days, weren't they, Alan?
Yeah, you had to remind me of that, didn't you?
11 points.
There's not a day goes by I don't think about that. Not one.
11 points lead here for Hartsville. The Red Foxes, who have never been to the state championship, they are 66 seconds away from having a date with Southside at the Colonial Life Arena.
It's kind of uncommon what we've seen today. We are sending 3 teams from this event that have never been to the state title game.
Bishop England girls, the Hartsville Red Foxes here.
And Lake City.
That's right.
Did Lake City win? It's been
a long day.
Together. I was going to say, if I look back at my board.
Well, Lake City was defeated by Bishop England.
That's right.
Lake City girls.
Right. Let's see. Orangeburg's been. Lexington's been. Timmonsville's been. Johnsonville. That's it.
Yeah, the Golden Flashes will represent the lower state Class A boys state final.
Johnsonville, Bishop England, and Hartsville in less than a minute will go to their first ever state title games this year.
Three-pointer is off the mark for Lower Richland, and the rebound is corralled by Zeke Copeland, and he is fouled. As he comes down, actually they're going to call the foul on a Hartsville player, and Lower Richland will have the basketball.
Yeah, just
and
to
now
clarify,
we've got another injury, far sideline, away from the action.
It's Freddie Jackson.
Freddie Jackson. So we're going to take another break here from Florence. This is the SCHSL Network. And Freddie Jackson is helped off the court. I believe he was just cramping up over there for Hartsville. And he's been all over the place. Back to live action now. And blocked shot. Hartsville gathers the loose ball, but fouled immediately is Naquan Pearson, the 5'9 senior.
Yeah, just to be clarify, the first-time winners, Johnsonville boys, Bishop England girls, and Hartsville boys.
If they can hold on here.
If they can hold on.
Which they should, with an 11-point lead, and at the free throw line with under a minute to play is Naquan Pearson. And just a strange game, the final 4 minutes. Final 4:20.
It's taken a while to finish.
A strange ending here tonight. And, of course, our thoughts with Eric Eves and his family.
Indeed.
Long three-pointer off the front iron. Good follow-through there by Brendan Montgomery for Lower Richland. And count the basket for Devontae Washington. Washington has had a heck of a game here tonight.
That's what I was going to say. Regardless of what happens next Saturday night, this is a game that Devontae Washington will remember for the rest of his life, knowing that he was instrumental in sending his team to their first ever state championship game.
Doesn't connect on his second shot. And Lower Richland is fighting for pride right now. They'll launch a three-pointer. 18 points unofficially tonight for Devontae Washington and 8 blocked shots. And Washington looking to add a little icing on the cake, but he'll dish off to Copeland. And Copeland is fouled. Stops the clock with about 5 seconds left. And Hartsville, the Red Foxes, will make their first ever trip to the state finals. They will take on south side of Greenville here on the SCHSL network from Columbia, as Eric Samuel, the head coach, leads his alma mater to the Colonial Life Arena for the first time in school history. Lower Richland fought hard, but you've got to go back to the beginning of that fourth period where they picked up the technical foul and Hartsville made them pay, going on a 13-0 run. And Lower Richland never able to get back into the ball game. Stevens will go for one last shot for Lower Richland. In and out, and that's going to do it. The buzzer sounds, and Hartsville, the Red Foxes, are your 2012 Lower State champions as they knock off Lower Richland 60-46. For our entire crew at Play On Sports and the SCHSL network, for my wonderful broadcast partner Alan Smothers, I am Birch Antley saying so long from beautiful Florence, South Carolina. We'll talk to you next time here on the SCHSL network.